On that note, I do want to touch on a couple of recruits. Emeka Egbuka made a trip to OU and turned some heads. All right, so Emeka Egbuka is the number 1 wide receiver in the 2021 class coming out of Washington. He's down to Ohio State, University of Washington, and Oklahoma. Had not visited Oklahoma, and it did not look like it was going to happen with the dead period being what it is. But OU was going to have its last game of the season on Saturday against Baylor at home. Last home game. And he not only came down, but he was hosted by Caleb Williams, right? Caleb Williams committed to Oklahoma and a 5-star quarterback who has been recruiting using his Sports Illustrated blog, his Twitter, his IG. Man is trying to put together a squad around himself. So not only does he host Emeka, he puts up IG live video of them throwing passes. Emeka's running routes, Caleb is throwing darts. And I can't tell you how all the people that saw that had feels. Like all the people who follow recruitment, especially on the Ohio State side, was like, damn, did we really just lose Emeka Egbuka? Like, do we know? We don't know. But like before he took that trip, people were like, yo, you trying to tell me that Emeka Egbuka going to commit to a place that he hasn't actually had an opportunity to visit with coaches, see the facilities, and, get the 5-star treatment for an official visit? If that happens, I will come down there and shake Lincoln Riley's hand myself, to which I'm like, yo, man, you come down here, wear a mask, and just wave. Because after this weekend, Caleb wrote a blog post. Came out this morning. Felt like I've known Emeka my whole life. We were talking a bunch in the car. We had good chemistry. Like, all the Ohio State people are in their feelings right now over this child. And you know what? He's cold. He's cold. Like, the comp is Juju Smith-Schuster. So Oklahoma can, if they can land an Emeka Egbuka and land a Kamara Wheaton and land a Tristan Lay, that's 3 5-stars, right? In addition to some other dudes, they could finish with a top 5 recruiting class for the first time since 2010. Meanwhile, Corey Foreman took a visit to Clemson after having decommitted in April. Felt like it was a USC lean, still kind of feels that way. Visited with Arizona State. They know how to put dudes in the NFL. It's Herm, it's Antonio Pierce, it's Marvin Lewis. It's tough to turn that down if you are a top defensive tackle. And then, or defensive end, excuse me. And then, when he went to Clemson, he was sitting with Big Dave. Big Dave is Big Dave Uyunglele. That's DJ's daddy. And Big Dave got a Twitter presence. And it's fun. Like, he is all in on his kid and Clemson football. So Big Dave put a picture up of him taking a picture with Corey Foreman. Like, Foreman leaning into the picture. They ain't, like, touching or anything, which I thought was cool. And then we got Foreman talking about trying to get to LSU for Alabama. If you're an LSU fan, do you want him to make that trip?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Okay. Why? Knowing you got beat. Okay. All right. Maybe after watching that game, he might reconsider Alabama. That's my thinking.
Okay, then you got a solid choice.
Just reconsider Alabama. I don't know, man. Christian Barmore doesn't look that much better than me. LeBron Ray don't look that much better than me. I feel like I could play those positions. I feel like I could be good. I feel like I don't want to get destroyed. Because that's what Alabama's doing. They're destroying people. Like, death, taxes, Death Star, Empire, the Empire, Palpatine, all of that.
I feel like that's what you would always going up against, especially if you are a recruiter and a recruit in the past 5 years. You got to know that, if you go to Alabama or Ohio State or Clemson, you will crush. You can't really make an argument against that, other than the fact that there's other dudes that will be crushing there. Do you want to go against them, or do you want to play here? That's the extent of my pitch.
Clemson, that 2018 squad, they're going to be living off of that for a while, I think. When you get 4 dudes on your starting defensive line all drafted the same year, and 3 of them go in the first round, like, that's tough. That's tough. Meanwhile, Egbuka is choosing between an an offensive depth, a wide receiver depth chart that is absolutely just loaded at Ohio State. And Brian Hartline has been outstanding in recruitment. But until they get a first-round draft pick at wide receiver, they ain't had one since 2007, let alone a dude to, show out and go win a Biletnikoff Award. Like, D.D. Westbrook was talked about the way that Devontae Smith is being talked about now. Hollywood Brown, C.D. Lamb, first-round draft picks back-to-back years. I'm just saying, Dennis Simmons has been outstanding, and Dennis Simmons has also been at Oklahoma for like the past 5 years, 6 years, and just cranking them out. So, things to talk about there. So now I want to get to the last headline topic. Tom Herman's Texas in absolute crisis. Absolute crisis. So,
tough for him.
Yeah, so like, I'm working on this piece about Texas football and where it's at. And I talked to Fozzie Whitaker about Texas football and where it's at. And
you Fozzie Whitaker?
Yeah, like, because he get to come at it from, I play for Mac Brown. I don't know what this is. Like that's one of the cool things about playing in the Mac Brown era is you get to be like, yeah, we were different. This is just Texas. Like,
I was going to say, there's very few times where you get to pull out, well, I built differently. Yeah, that decade, yeah, fine. Congrats.
But like, for real though, like,
I don't know what a bad Texas looks like.
Yeah, well, like, my point is essentially you can go 16 years in each direction now and not see a national championship claimed or unclaimed. Okay? The last unclaimed national championship Texas won, 1981, Fred Akers. They don't claim that one. The one they do claim before 2005, 1970. And you have also my interpretation of college football, which is don't tell me about anything that didn't happen before integration. Don't do it. If you're talking about how programs are built, what programs have done, I don't want to hear it unless you can tell me about what happened since integration. Because we got all these dudes talking about Dana X Bible. All these dudes talk about, hey, DKR won 4 national championships. Dog, they didn't integrate that football team like fully until 1971. They had their first black letter winner in 1970. Okay? They are the last all-white team to win a national championship in 1969. I need you to sit down somewhere. Now, if you're Ohio State, if you're Oklahoma, if you're Alabama, you can come talk to me. You can come talk to me because you were doing it across both of those eras. And I will let that slide. Right? Because Barry Switzer said, nah, watch this. Because after Bud Wilkinson already said, nah, watch this. Also, shout to Bud Wilkinson, who had a black letter winner at Oklahoma 14 years before Texas did. I'm never going to let that go. Never, 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 never. You can even talk to me in some degree about what it's been like for the new kids on the block, right? New kids being Central Florida, right? What Cincinnati has been doing here of late. Even Tulsa gets to talk to me, right? Even Tulsa gets to talk to me before some of y'all get to talk to me. But I also want to take it in this direction. Did they really expect Tom Herman to do what Ed Orgeron has accomplished? Yes. Should they have expected that? No. Do you know why? Because Nick Saban has shown that you could actually beat about this. And then Les Miles showed you could be about this. Like, that's the thing. You could have two dudes that could be about this.